Hi everyone, this is to be a quick tutorial for the card game warXorz, a game created by Pete Flutie Jr., that's me, and my friend Charlie Eckenbarger. We based our game off the classic card game War, figuring the core mechanics were a good starting point, but then we expanded by introducing classes and abilities. If you choose to print out and play with the prototype card sheets available, you will notice that each card has an information box with helpful reminders of what they do in their battle, war, and warXorz abilities. The official rules document has a much more detailed explanation for all of these abilities. It is highly recommended, whether you're playing with our printout cards or your own standard decks, that you take a close look at the detailed rules for each card. The detailed rules do help provide clarity in certain situations, such as confusion over whether an effect may or must take place. So, how do you play warXorz? Well, players begin the game with a standard shuffled deck of 54 warXorz game cards face down in front of them. The game may also be played with a standard deck of playing cards, including 2 jokers. The game is played in rounds. At the beginning of a round, both players place the top card of their deck face up on the table. The 2 opposing cards then enter into battle, war, or warXorz, following appropriate rules for each and utilizing any abilities available. Once all effects of the initial 2 opposing cards have been resolved, and cards placed face up into the appropriate discard pile, the round ends and a new round begins. Rounds continue until a player has 0 remaining cards in their deck, or until a stalemate position has been reached. In the event of a stalemate, the player with the most cards remaining in their deck rotation is declared the winner. If a player runs out of cards in their immediate deck but still has cards in their MIA pile, they immediately reshuffle their MIA pile and resume using those cards as their deck. If, near total depletion of their deck, the player is unable to provide all cards necessary for a war or effect, they simply use as many cards as they have left. It is suggested that players place their MIA pile in a standard orientation and their KIA pile at a 90-degree angle to reduce confusion. The killed in action pile is one of 2 discard piles. When a card is, unless otherwise stated, defeated in battle, war, warXorz, spent as a shot, or sent to the KIA pile for any other specified reason, it is considered removed from game unless another card's ability returns or revives it. When all of a player's cards have been placed into the KIA pile, that player loses the game. The missing in action pile is one of 2 discard piles. When a card is, unless otherwise stated, the victor in battle, war, warXorz, unaffected by an opposing card, or sent to the MIA pile for any other specified reason, it is considered to remain a part of a player's deck rotation, unless another card's ability moves it to the KIA pile. When a player must supply a card from their deck to begin a round, but their deck has been emptied of all cards, that player shuffles their MIA pile and resumes using those cards as their deck. In this tutorial, I will break down the basic elements of the game. When 2 cards of unmatched value face off, they are considered to be in battle. Battles are broken up into 2 types, standard and defensive. A standard battle is when 2 unmatched value cards are flipped up to begin a round. A card's battle ability and defeat list are active in standard battle. Direct conflict takes priority. If one card directly defeats the other, then that defeat takes place, ending the battle before any ability actions are carried out. If the cards are not in direct conflict, then abilities are carried out with the highest valued card going first. A defensive battle is when 2 unmatched value cards are facing off as part of a war or other ability. A card's battle ability and defeat list are not active in defensive battle. Direct conflict takes place between all cards, with higher value cards defeating any lower value cards. When 2 cards of matching value face off, they are considered to be in war. A card's battle ability is not used in war. Different matching pairs have a specified war type which must take place, or a specified war action which must be carried out. A fuse is a set number of cards lined up, face down and in file, below the warring card. These cards come in direct order from each player's deck, unless otherwise specified. The last card in the fuse chain is flipped face up and enters into a defensive battle against the last card in the opponent's fuse. Higher value card wins and remains. The lower value is moved to that player's KIA pile, and the next card in that player's fuse is turned face up. The highest value card remains until a card of higher value is turned up to defeat it. When all cards in a player's fuse chain are defeated, that player loses the war and their warring card is moved to their KIA pile. The winner moves their warring card and all remaining fuse cards to their MIA pile. A race is a constant flipping up of cards from each player's deck, in sync, until one player reaches the designated end. Depending on the race conditions, reaching that end may mean victory or defeat. All cards dealt in any race prior to the ending card are considered spent and moved to both players' KIA pile, regardless of race outcome. Other war actions include spending a single shot against each other, blindly selecting a player's card, or both players taking immediate damage. See individual card details in the rules document. A sub-war happens when 2 cards of matching value meet each other in any non-start of round instance, except for being fodder in a race. All cards in a race are inconsequential aside from the ending condition card. Otherwise, when matching cards meet, they begin a sub-war which takes place exactly as a regular war, with the outcome of the sub-war determining the winner between the cards that began the sub-war. When two generals enter in a war, they begin warXorz. A card's battle ability, defeat list, and war rules are all not active during warXorz. Each card has a specified warXorz ability, which is active. See individual card details. While warXorz acts like a fuse-style war, its rules for priority and battle outcome are different. Unlike a standard battle, each card's warXorz ability takes priority over conflict. Abilities are enacted with higher valued cards taking the initiative. After abilities have completed, and provided one has not removed the opposing card, then numerical value determines the winner between the two directly opposing cards. The lower value card is moved to that player's KIA pile. Unlike a defensive war, the higher value card does not remain, but is placed aside and counted as a survivor, with that player claiming 1 point of victory for that battle. The next card in each player's fuse chain is revealed and the rules repeat. All 5 battles must take place in warXorz, unless any ability prevents this from occurring. The player who claims the most victory points during warXorz is the winner and then moves their survivors to their MIA pile. If any sub-wars occur, they follow their particular war rules. A shot is the top card flipped up from a player's deck, used for numerical value unless otherwise stated. Shots are always spent after use, which means after use for numerical value or other purpose, a spent card is immediately placed into that player's KIA pile. To recommission or rearm means the player returns their entire MIA pile to their deck and shuffles. To revive, as with the medic, or reload, as with the demolitions, the player returns a chosen card as per the ability's rules from their KIA pile to their MIA pile. Chosen cards must be revealed to opponent to ensure they are legal as per ability. For abilities that only take effect if the card survives, that means that the specified card will have been moved to the MIA pile instead of the KIA pile at the end of battle, in which case it is considered to have survived. For any abilities that allow you to swap cards, the player may replace the card causing the swap ability with a selectable card from the swap ability. Both cards swap places, then the rest of the swap ability is carried out. A swap card does not use its own ability. For any abilities marked post-effect, these are specifically warXorz abilities, the ability does not take effect until after the conclusion of warXorz. A card's value determines the ability effect order between opposing cards, and determines the battle victor when the defeat list is not active. The cards are valued from highest to lowest as follows. The Joker or Sniper is valued highest for conflict, such as in defensive battles like being part of a fuse. Then in descending order it goes Ace or Artillery, King or General, Queen or Medic, Jack or an Infantry, 10 or Infantry, 9 or Recon, 8 or Demolitions, 7 or Infantry, 6 or Infantry, 5 or Infantry, 4 or Infantry, 3 or Intelligence, 2 or Infiltrator, and finally, the Sniper is also valued lowest for ability. This generally means when starting a round. I hope this gives you a brief overview of how warXorz is played. While it may seem complicated at first, everyone we have ever playtested the game with has picked it up very quickly after their first try, and has always asked for a rematch. Once again, I highly recommend you give the detailed rules at least one good look over, and possibly keep them handy in case any questions arise during play. We hope you enjoy our game, and if you have any comments, compliments, or criticisms, please feel free to get in touch with us. Thank you.